Apart from money, what's the next thing that you need the most? How do you personally recognize someone's not very intelligent? What is an overrated thing people always buy? In-game currency. It's the dopamine hits. As a gambler, I never had the urge to pay more to play. Diamonds, Dyson, designer sneakers can get the same functionality for sometimes hundreds of dollars cheaper and often more comfortable and ergonomic to wear. Dumb Reddit awards. This guy was totally expecting to get a bunch of awards for it. 14 hours later, nothing to show for it. Failure. Lip balm. They never work and sometimes make things worse. What is considered a young person name? Madison, Khaleesi, or Arya. Last names as first names. Ryder, X, A-12. Neve. I know it's heaven backwards, but how the hell are you supposed to pronounce it? I never knew any Neves growing up, but I did know someone who was just named Heaven. Bella. Does any Chad ever get past their 20s, or they just change their names when they do? Jaden. Also Aiden, Caden, Raiden. The first Jaden I knew was the protagonist of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Ever met anybody over 13 called Braden? Mason. Hey, that's me. I'm Mason. Yeah, that's one of those old guy names that became a young guy name. Timmy. The only Timmy I know is in his 60s, but he's definitely a kid at heart. Keeps falling down the well, eh? What's the weirdest thing society accepts as normal? Asking people how their day is going or how they are doing whilst expecting them to not actually tell you if something is wrong or bad. How lonely a lot of people are. I guess Facebook and social media was meant to be a sticking plaster, but wow, so many people have nobody to go home to. Having constant 24/7 news coverage. They may not see it as normal technically, but raising your children explicitly according to your own ideology instead of teaching them how to form their own opinion on things. Eating with the mouth open. I don't know. Kissing family members has always just been so strange. I get it. People are raised differently, but I would never ever kiss my kids straight on the lips. Just no. That poor people are poor because they deserve it. People have read it. In your opinion, what is the best Christmas movie? Iron Man 3 is the best Christmas movie. It's a Wonderful Life. It went from the movie I hated when my dad put on as a kid to hands down my favorite Christmas movie and one of my favorite movies of all time. Scrooged with Bill Murray. Muppets Christmas Carol. There is no contest. There is no other answer. Okay, maybe The Grinch. But the Muppets Christmas Carol is a cinematic masterpiece and incredibly faithful to the spirit of the original story. It has it all. Scares, songs, moral lessons, Muppets, jelly beans, and Michael Caine. And I'm personally glad Disney has decided to rectify the criminal cutting of When Love Is Gone, because it just hits different without it. The Muppets Christmas Carol. Nightmare Before Christmas for me. Can't believe you said the C word already. In my opinion, The Polar Express is the greatest of all time. Charlie Brown Christmas. Elf. Fight Me. Home Alone. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, 1966. And I have a soft spot for the 2018 animated version. Love Actually. Mental health check. How's everyone doing? You do not want the answer to that question, my friend. Shitty as f***. How about you? Honestly, not great. Thought I should ask others. Hope things get better soon. Better than usual. I handled a thing I was putting off because I was very, very afraid. And it's all fine. Such a relief. Why do I do this to myself? I've been crying for 2 days straight. Why is everyone so sad? Why do you think? Hitting children. A bird couple have made their nest outside my window and had laid 4 eggs. There are 2 baby birds in the nest now, and I feel happy. Subconsciously waiting for the crush that left me 9 years ago. I keep telling myself every day I'm gonna exercise, but I never do. I have plenty of free time to exercise. Why am I like this? What are/were your friends into that you just absolutely could not get into? TikTok, just not my thing. Superheroes in general, especially in this age of Marvel, I feel like I must be crazy, but I just can't get into them at any real level. The less traditional superhero the movie is, the more I may like it, but only even then, it's not something I seek out. Only real exception in recent years was Spider-Verse, and that was mostly down to animation. Anime, I'll watch it with them, but it's just not something I'd do on my own. Country music, Game of Thrones. I couldn't get into it and had a bad feeling it was going to end poorly, like Lost did. It felt like a show that relied too much on shock value and what will happen next. Boy, did I call that one. There's a couple. My Little Pony, Avatar, The Last Airbender. What's a good response to shut the f*** up? Learn sign language for the best response. Make me daddy. I don't shut up, I grow up. And when I look at you, I throw up. Then your mom comes around the corner and licks it up. 3rd grade me. You first. No you. No you. Make me shut up. I see you are very offended by what I just said. That gives off incel vibes. It really does, actually. It totally does. Your only partner in the zombie apocalypse is the main character of the last video game you played. How well do you survive? Minecraft Steve? I think I'll be fine, I think. The Doomslayer. I'm Golden. She is Commander Shepard and we are hiding in her favorite shop at the Citadel. Mario won't stop saying, it's a me. We die fast. I think I'll be alright. Last game I played was Skyrim. Alloy. I'll do just fine. Girl's a boss. The Witcher. I'm pretty confident about my chances. Steve from Minecraft. I guess he would be somewhat helpful, so I guess I'd survive for quite some time. Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think I'm in good hands. That would be Sonic the Hedgehog. I played Skyrim, so Dragonborn. Obi-Wan. I'm mindset. What video game has Obi-Wan as the protagonist? Huh? Wait, which Star Wars game? I mean, Lego Star Wars technically is it's like one of the first characters you can play, but I don't know. I just work here. What's a dish that is popular in your culture, but foreigners find it disgusting? Peanut butter sandwiches. The heart, liver, and lungs of a sheep or calf minced with suet, onions, oatmeal, and seasonings and boiled in the animal's stomach. It's so damn tasty. I've always wanted to try haggis. Vegemite. How's it taste anyway? I'm American and I'm pretty curious about it. See here, and I find it absolutely disgusting. If you're gonna try it, make sure you have lots of butter and just a little bit of Vegemite. It's salty and bitter, not something I enjoy at all. Spotted dick. It looks delicious. Come on. The name. That name will never not be funny. Root beer. Beans on toast. I thought that was global. I don't know what my culture is. People who went from being extremely attracted to someone to not. What killed it? He threw a temper tantrum in the middle of the office. My nether regions have never dried up faster. Lip fillers. She was both needy and arrogant. One moment she's insecure and neurotic. Next she's telling me what to do like she owns me. A horrible conversation. Met his mother. The dynamic was creepy. She acted like a jealous girlfriend, making backhanded critical statements to me, and I noticed within a couple of minutes of her being in company with him, he started mimicking her behavior. Ditched him and still ended up with a similar situation in my marriage. Guess I had a type, or the ex hit it better. I tried explaining to him that his old messages with his ex was kind of weird and uncomfortable to read. Context, he was just showing me randomly, and he replied with LOL, and continued to show me more. I eventually told him I needed to go, which was a lie. Starting every sentence with I. What's something that makes you irrationally angry? Other people driving on the same road as I am. The absolute audacity. People asking me why I'm angry when I'm actually not. Hearing people breathe or chew. Parking in front of my house. Don't know why, but it drives me crazy, especially when there is room in front of the house they are visiting. People that scrape their teeth on metal utensils. Instantly makes me want to throttle them. Private school kids on public transport that clearly don't have a lesson devoted to etiquette and getting the f*** out of the goddamn way. Move your school bag, you privileged f***. Recreational bikers in a group of 20 taking up an entire lane of a 2-lane narrow road when this metropolitan area has spent millions on bike trails that go to the city. People that only communicate by sending memes and reels, which I've already seen. Like, dude, just say hi, how are you? I don't give a shit about another edited SpongeBob moment thrown over some sexual caption. It's nasty. When others suck the ends of their fingers during a meal, I feel a deep urge to stab. Pizza is now illegal. What's its street name? Slice. Za. Turtle food. That's actually really good. Cowabunga. 314s. Cheeser. Mario. 6 cuts. Give me some of that flat calzone. Give me a flatty. Who is the most famous person you've ever seen in real life? Selena Gomez when I was 7. She was in the passenger seat of a car and waved at me and I waved back. I think I once saw Louis C.K. buying groceries. Shaq. When he was at LSU, I accidentally ran into him at a festival. I wasn't paying attention. He was super nice. Maybe a tie. Reagan, Bill Clinton, and Obama. President Barack Obama. He was giving a speech and very few people were there. I was within 50 feet of him. I had tea with the Queen. It was all very regal and there was a shed load of security. David Attenborough. I worked with him on one episode of The Private Life of Plants. Because I work in the film and TV industry, I've got to work on a lot of sets with big actors, including Margot Robbie, Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, Vincent D'Onofrio, Henry Cavill, Jamie Campbell Bower, Naomi Watts, the list goes on. I've spoken to a handful of these actors, and a lot of them are super nice. In fact, I don't think I've come across a rude or hard to work with actor. Bruce Willis at the table next to me in a cheesecake factory. What did Fergi mean when she said mix your milk with my Cocoa Puffs and my humps? She was commenting on the efficacy of communism and its notion that people not only bring different things to the table, but that a shared solution is better overall than private gain. That's Fergi for you. She don't like dry cereal. Dry cereal does make you thirsty. She was describing quantum mechanical entanglement. While the ordering of the statement implies that the Cocoa Puffs are already present and waiting for milk to be added, I feel this is a very strong statement on her part that the cereal should be added before the milk and is poured for the optimum breakfast experience. She was pretty ahead of her time. Breakfast at her place, bring some milk, she ran out. In the Navy, mixing milk with Cocoa Puffs was all the rage for the They're in a codependent relationship. They can't have cereal without the other. You've heard people named after cities like Paris, Brooklyn, Orlando. What would be the worst place to name your kid after? Oh, Jesus Christ. What the f***? Why do I have to say this? Everyone's gonna make fun of me. Guys, I'm gonna try my best. Can you guys in the comments just act like I did a really good job and be like, wow, Mason, I can't believe you got that right first time. I gotta look this up. There we go. What? Go. Oh my God, what the f***? I can't say that. Holy sh**. I had to look up a YouTube tutorial. This guy just nailed it. How am I supposed to? Okay, I'm not repeating it again. That place in Wales. Every time Every time you try to pronounce it, you risk summoning Cthulhu. Detroit, Chernobyl, New York. It makes it seem like there was an older sibling named York that mysteriously disappeared. So, Newfoundland and Labrador. Intercourse, Pennsylvania, no! Not intercourse. Hamtramck. It's a city in Michigan. Middlefart, Denmark. Whitmawatma Gate. It's not a city, but a street name in York, UK. What movie sequel still upsets you? Mean Girls 2. I hate it so much. Kill It With Fire. Highlander 2. There should have only been one. Kissing Booth 3. A mess. The Matrix Resurrections. What the f*** was that shit? The Incredibles 2. We waited 14 years just to get a mediocre movie with the most obvious twist villain ever. You get $1,000 per person you annoy. What is the fastest way you can become a billionaire? I think just doing my job, because there seems to be a couple people in the comments that aren't my biggest fan. I had one person get mad at me on Twitter because I wasn't knowledgeable on every subject in the video, and I said that I didn't know something and I couldn't pronounce it correctly, and they subtweeted me. I had to look up Ask EmKay to find it, but it was so funny. It was silly. Be the dude at the airport terminal telling people they gotta do another loop, can't wait there for people coming off the plane. I'd probably only have to do half a day at LaGuardia. Really? I can't say that the advice, just be yourself, has always worked out well for me. This sounds like it might be the exception. Start tweeting again. Deadmau5! Post the answer to Wordle and all your social media first thing in the morning. Start arguing with everyone on Reddit. Y'all heard me, bitch. Go slightly under the speed limit on a long 2-lane road. Take out a bunch of TV and radio ads endorsing both Trump and Biden simultaneously, using Gilbert Gottfried's sound bites as the narration. Driving through neighborhoods, windows down, music blaring. Make 3 unskippable ads on YouTube, plus each ad with a length of 60 seconds, unskippable. Talk about CrossFit, and then argue with the people on the CrossFit subs. Become the host of a popular talk show. You thought Corden was bad? You just wait. Talk seriously to high school students. What's the moment that made you realize your so-called friends were really just when I got cancer and they never checked on me? Worked with and rented a large house with my friend group after high school. Dumb and inexperienced with life, I didn't know they were lying to me about bills and making me pay more, whatever they felt like, until a family member asked about it. Eventually, they all looked at moving into a new place without telling me. One felt guilty and confessed. They would basically steal my money to shop with and planned on moving out while I was visiting family, so I came back to an empty place and responsible for everything. The last time I tried throwing a birthday party for myself, it always seemed like the ratio of people who said they'd come to people who actually showed was lacking. But my final attempt, I had 20 plus people say they'd show, exactly 1 actually came. I've never had a birthday party since, but I'm still good friends with the one guy who showed. They asked not to have one of the people in our group over. They didn't want to tell him there was no game. They just wanted him to knock and pretend no one was there. I wasn't very cool with this, but they didn't want to be confrontational with said person. Before the next week rolled around, they were saying there wasn't going to be anything going on that Saturday. I knew they were full of but went by to confirm that they were all there Saturday, and sure enough, they all were. Just dropped them like a sack of potatoes and never spoke to them again. No reason to. I had 3 friends. 2 I liked and 1 I didn't really like at all. Turns out, they had a group chat where they just called me slurs and talked about me behind my back. The guy I didn't like sent me screenshots of this, and me and him have been friends 3 years now. When I stopped drinking and realized that's all we had holding our friendship together. We went on vacation together and I went to bed early. They proceeded to talk about me for 2 hours straight. Then when confronted, they said they'd never do such a thing. 80s, 90s kids, what's something a school teacher did to you that would not fly today? I told my biology teacher that I wasn't feeling too well. He said that I didn't look sick, and as punishment, made me stand in the corner until I fainted. 6th grade teacher, Miss Sullivan, would take 3 kids every Friday to McDonald's for lunch. She was cool as hell, smoked during the drive and everything. English teacher in high school used to cuss kids out for being noisy in class, and if that didn't work, he threw the blackboard eraser at us. I wasn't on the receiving end of the eraser. That chalk would leave marks on kids' backs for the rest of the day, so everyone knew who pissed off Mr. Charvet. Not a teacher, but school one. If you read enough books during the year in elementary school, you got to have a sleepover in the library. Like, we brought sleeping bags and slept on the floor. In the morning, they had griddles out and we made pancakes. I know, total nerds, but it was my favorite elementary school memory. My elementary school teacher used to say to kids, "You're cruising for a bruising," and once washed out my friend Jermaine's mouth with soap. This was circa 1987. It was my first grade. I shook the ruler in my hand and the teacher took my ruler and hit me with it, causing my nose bleeding. A few years later, I found out that she had also been working as a school psychologist. Late 90s, my first 2nd grade teacher would punish the talkative kids by putting us against the wall with our arms up and beat us with a ruler if we put them down due to pain, numbness, or being tired. I don't think that would be acceptable nowadays. I can't believe that was acceptable even then. My high school studies skills teacher used to A. Throw your book bag over the railing outside the class to the first floor below if you fell asleep. B. Threw chalkboard erasers at you if you were caught talking during his lectures. C. Got a megaphone in your ear if you fell asleep and didn't notice your book bag tossed. Funny thing is, Mr. Stewart was somehow one of the most liked teachers in school, circa 1997. What's something you wish you never never saw. My dog being put to sleep. Of course, I'd never leave him to go through it alone, but it's all I can see when I think of him. My favorite movies so I can rewatch them. Some old delivery guy deliberately ran over a kitten after we warned him that it had just wandered under the car. The head just stared at us, then ran straight over it. Then he got out while laughing and picked it up by the ear and threw it in our direction. I will never forget seeing that poor little kitten's body shaking with blood over its face. Then I had to knock on the lady's door and let her know that that piece of that just delivered her pizza deliberately ran over her kitty. If anyone needs it, r/iBleach. Reddit saw way too much bad stuff on this. In China, older people don't give a Multiple times I've walked into a bathroom with an old guy squatting over the toilet with poop clearly flying down, splatting on the ground. Good times. Not as awful as some of these posts, but hoping writing this down does something to erase it from my memory, like when you get an earworm. Was speaking to a lady today, pleasant conversation, suddenly something dropped out of her mouth onto her lip. She kept talking with it there. I couldn't look away. I swear it was a rather large tonsil stone or something equally as gross. Then she suddenly realized it and just licked it back into her mouth and carried on talking. I have balked several times today just thinking of this. Oh, you just reminded me of the time I worked with children and saw a mother suck the running snot out of her sick child's I can't. We're skipping it. I'm gonna throw up. What caused the glass-shattering moment that made you realize something about yourself, and what did you do after it? I was being a douche on the school bus in like the 4th grade, kept kicking the seat of the kid in front of me. Did it once super hard. I'm sure it hurt. He turned around so fast I couldn't even say anything and punched me in the face. I realized I was a little prick and became a little less prick-like that day. Shout out to Andy. The counselor said, "Have you ever considered that you did nothing wrong?" My answer was no, but it opened up a whole other path of thinking, which was my way out. I realized that likes and upvotes online were a pitiable replacement for appropriate in-person validation. So I got back into playing music for people. It's great. Me and my buddy have a Simon and Garfunkel tribute act show tonight. Super fun. I used to want everyone to notice me and make them like me until one of my favorite teachers called me attention-seeking. And from then on, I realized no one cared what I did, so I became myself with no regrets or limits. Strangers don't think about you a fraction as much as you think they do or that you do about yourself. When my best friend of 20 years, closest thing to a brother, ended our friendship and said I was a toxic person, I had to do some serious reflection and started noticing a lot of toxic traits that I had. Mostly that stemmed from years of ignored and repressed depression. I started seeing someone and got on some good medication. I'm still learning how to do things right 8 years later. However, my life has changed very much for the better. When I cried, therapists told me that I wasn't sad but angry. That didn't make any sense to me at the time, but it clicked later. I didn't allow myself to show anger, and when I suppressed it, it expressed itself as sadness. I try to take more space and express my anger now. It's uncomfortable, but much healthier. I think this fits. I was very into church and very much a good Christian kid. In a geography or something class, in 8th grade, a girl said, "I'm so glad I was born into a family with the right religion," when we were studying India. That just struck me as incredibly stupid. So I spent the rest of my life learning about and even practicing different religions to some extent. And 99% of them all boiled down to don't be a without giving your age. What is one event that occurred in your lifetime that hints at how old you are? I stood in line for the first polio vaccine. Mount St. Helens eruption dumped volcanic ash onto my town. MTV had music. Pearl Harbor. The computers at my school had Windows 3.1. The USSR officially ended. I saw E.T. opening week at theater. Was already alive for Chernobyl, but too young to remember. Didn't experience the 90s, yet I was born before the millennial shift. Dial-up was released. The fall of the Berlin Wall. All these people are old. God, I hate old people. Be younger. Big rock hit the earth and everything went boom. My pet T-Rex died. Dad? Shh. I'm still looking for cigarettes and milk. What's the largest age gap you consider in a relationship? Bella and Edward were pushing it. I'm currently dating the 42,000-year-old worm found in Siberia. How lovely. I wish you many more prosperous and fulfilling years in your relationship. For me personally, I'd say about a 5-year age gap, over or under, is my comfy range, and like 8 is like my hard limit, where you better be that rare diamond in the rough to even have a shot. I'm 40. I'll take what I can get at this point. Brother, I would not say that. The middle-aged man's formula. Half your age plus 7. 7 or 8 years. I'm 21, so I wouldn't mind dating anyone between 20 to 27 or 28. Less than 30 days. And they have to be born in the same moon cycle. I'm not looking for someone not born under the same moon as me. That's some bad juju right here. My moon is in Gatorade right now. I'm a 37-year-old male. I don't see myself getting into a relationship with anybody under 30. Upper is 65. My current GF is 52. When I was 24, I dated a woman that was 62 for 3 years. Hey, I like older women. You mean you like old women? You dated someone who was in their 60s when you were in your early 20s? What's the worst pizza topping? Pineapple, anchovy, Anchovies, the usual. Carrot, celery, that plastic tripod thing. What the f? Hey man, that thing tastes good. Pizza near my old house had a topping of egg and melted ice cream. Was absolutely amazing after a load of beers. Would never consider it sober. Bubblegum and banana pizza. Bubblegum instead of cheese. I was doing residential at that time, so it made sense as to why this happened, but still, asbestos dust. I once had a durian pizza. I can gladly say I'll be avoiding that. Lots of answers involving things that wouldn't be there anywho. The correct answer is peanut butter. It's really a thing, and it's incredibly horrific. The worst topping is lack of topping. You're driving your partner to the hospital as they're about to give birth. What song are you playing on the ride there? I feel like in that moment, Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC would be really good. Okay, is it bad that I want to say Highway to Hell? That's a little messed up, my guy. Mario Kart OST, Baby Park. Oh my god. On point both for the title and the utter bedlam of the track itself. That'd be so hilarious. Push It, Salt and Pepper. Whatever she wants should be the only answer. The final countdown. I need a hero. Highway to the Danger Zone. I'm gonna be the Proclaimers. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around or desire you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. I don't know if that would fit. Like, I know it's like proving your dedication, but I don't know. If I try to fiddle with Spotify in that situation, we'll both need to go to the hospital. What is the stupidest thing you've heard from someone that was being 100% serious? Them. How are planes able to go through clouds? What do you mean? They just go through. It causes a bit of turbulence, but that's it. No, but how does the plane not break apart? Because it's stronger than the cloud. So a person can't stand on a cloud, but a plane can go through it. That doesn't make sense. I read on Facebook that cauliflower can cure autism. Do you mind if you eat cauliflower more often? This was from my mom. She's a nurse. Oh boy. Maybe she shouldn't be a nurse. At what age do mice turn into rats? Two things. I heard a woman telling her friend that her child was born with ginger hair because she dyed her own hair when she was pregnant. I worked with someone who turned down multiple pay raises and a very generous overtime because it would take him over the tax bracket and thought his entire wage would now be taxed at 40%. You're an engineer? What kind of train do you drive? Steam is just another name for water smoke. There's no difference between smoke and steam. You're a friggin' idiot. Dinosaur bones were planted in the ground by scientists to turn people away from God. Ah yes, the Satanosaurus Rex. Mice lay eggs, right? Like ducks. No, I do. That idiot is still married to me. What is one small action you find to be rude? Talking over people. It can happen 1 to 2 times, but if it's constant, there's gonna be problems. Talking to someone on speaker when people are in the room. Leaving carts willy-nilly in the lot. Return it to the corral, you troglodyte. This person is either Southern or British. When people ask you to smile. This is my resting face, okay? When shopping for food, not placing the goddamn checkout divider so I can add mine. You're just living in your own world, huh? Skipping lines drives me nuts. Not holding the door open for the person directly behind you. Being late. Why has our society normalized being late? People are late and don't even apologize or give them a reason as to why they're late. It's just normal for them. Some of us value our time extremely high. I get it, stuff happens, but people that are habitually late is flat out rude. When people ask you personal questions like it's nothing. What is your favorite cartoon from when you were growing up? Oh, I got a bunch of them. I mean, Pokemon cartoon, Code Lyoko, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, My Life as a Teenage Robot's up there, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob, just classic stuff, you know? Tom and Jerry, Reboot. It was CGI and about beings that live in a computer, fight viruses and play games against a faceless, indifferent user. It got pretty dark at time, but the character arcs were pretty amazing. Batman the Animated Series. Courage, not spelled right, but that's okay. Courage the Cowardly Dog, Bugs Bunny, Ultimate Spider-Man, Inspector Gadget. I always wanted Penny's computer book, Garfield and Friends, Duckula, never heard of that one. Pokemon! Hey guys, did you know I like Pokemon? I bet you didn't know that. Rugrats. My parents didn't have cable, so my grandparents would lovingly tape it for me, and then when I'd come over for the weekend, I'd sit in front of the TV for hours, just cycling through VHS tapes. Well, my grandma came in every few hours and brought me fruit in a little bowl or Kraft mac and cheese. How did you lose all your friends? It was a dark and stormy night in 2017 where I was going through a depressive episode and left our group chat because I didn't want them to deal with how sad I was, and then I was better after that and I wanted to come back and they said no, and then I haven't talked to them since then. Lose or get rid of? I just quit Facebook. Haven't heard from any of them ever since. Guess it was worth it. I was going through a hard time and they all just forgot about me. I stopped putting in effort to go see them, and magically the friendship ceased to exist when I stopped trying. Makes you wonder who was the friend in the first place. I married someone that made me distance myself under the auspice of spending time with them, and then they divorced me. I didn't have kids. We went hunting and they wore camo. As soon as they walked into the forest, I've never seen them again. What would be the god of clowns called? Andrew Tate. Gestus. Clunt. Clunt. The honk father. Buggy. Donald Trump. Bubbles the clown. Who wants to blow bubbles? Honk. Why honk? Because clown. Fair enough. Jeff Bozo. What's not worth going cheap? Mattress. You're gonna be sleeping on it every night for years, so get a good one. Tires. Toilet paper, unless you like fingers up there. Tattoo artist. Carjack. cheap yearly grills, get a decent Weber, olive oil, shoes. What's the best one-liner to answering a phone call? Hoy, hoy. Ah, Mr. Burns, I see. Line 4, you're on the air. Hello? Seems to work. North Shore Bank, you jack it, we pack it. How may I help you? Or you squeeze it, we freeze it. Hello there. Yellow. Johnson Donkey Farm. Which jack would you like to speak with? My cousin got me a ring-a-ding-ding. You're speaking with the king. Hi, you'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel. Who's your favorite Pokemon besides Pikachu? Guys, this is my moment. Mine, personally, is Metacham, but I also really like Eggy Slash and a couple other ones, like, of course, like Torterra, the starter. But I am ear to ear smiling right now. Eevee. Yes, Eevee's the best. Eevee is my favorite evolutions included. I love making an all Eevee evolutions team and just wreck things. Tournament-wise, not the best, but they're cute and have been my go-to since Red and Blue came out. Mudkip and all evolutions. Psyduck, aka Fat Boy. Totodile. Gengar. I used to pronounce it Genjar. Can't spell, but the OG grass Pokemon. Ah, you mean Bulbasaur. One of my friends couldn't remember his name once and called him the Onion Frog. Haha, amazing. Mewtwo. Mr. Mime. Somehow this poor man has been trapped in a Pokeball, stripped of his unalienable rights as a human being and forced to mate with various puddles of goo. Yet he suffers in silence. He's the last word in mental toughness. What's a song that can tear you up instantly? The Minecraft OST. There's a few, but I absolutely cannot listen to Photograph by Ed Sheeran. We lost our first son 7 years ago, and that's what was on the radio. Haven't listened to it since. If it comes on the radio, I turn it off. If it's on TV, I change the channel. Same goes for Orinoco Flow by Enya. That was my grandma's funeral song. She died 11 years ago, and I still can't listen to it. Almost any song, cause I live sad. Chasing Cars. Bridge Over Troubled Water. Such a beautiful, powerful song. Colorblind by Counting Crows. Mad World. Which version? In My Life by the Beatles. Gross. Beatles suck. In another life, I would be your girl. This Town by Niall Horan. What is something you would hate to be allergic to? Dogs, because then I would have to live on Benadryl if I wanted to keep my puppy over here. Right, Jojo? You're such a good boy. I love you. Anesthesia. Can you imagine needing surgery or giving birth or getting your wisdom teeth taken out? Air. Water. Doctor walks in. You're allergic to literally everything we tested. Dogs. The sun. The ocean. Paycheck. What's the worst response to I love you? Aw, thanks. It'll pass. I know. Han Solo begs to differ. Ditto. Cool beans with finger guns. How'd you get into my house? I'm sleeping with your brother. I have a bicycle. Can you swim? Silence, punctuated only by a long, drawn-out squeaky fart. Steady eye contact maintained the whole time, of course. What are dumb things people believe? That Ohio exists. It doesn't. That you have to wash your chicken before you eat it. That the personality depends on what month they were born in. We never landed on the moon. The earth is flat. Saddam had WMDs. Koalas are bears. That Australia exists. Brown milk comes from brown cows. How now, brown cow? TikToks. What's your first thought when you wake up in the morning? Here we go again. I want to go back to sleep. Should I go back to bed? I don't want to go to work. Even on weekends. So the nightmare begins again. Coffee. I say a little prayer for you. Oh God, is today Friday? That mama cooked breakfast with no hog. What's your favorite breakfast food? I recently learned how to make good biscuits and gravy, and I've made it several times since then, and it is now probably my favorite breakfast food. French toast. Crepes. Taco Bell. Taco Bell's breakfast is actually astounding. They have breakfast crunch wraps where it's like eggs, meat of choice. I usually go steak and a hash brown and cheese and like sauce. Oh my God. Banana. Oatmeal. Cereal. What kind? What's your guys' favorite cereal? Put in the comments what your favorite cereal is. Cinnamon raisin bagel, toasted with a smear of crunchy peanut butter. Eggs. Omelet. Croissant dipped in a latte. Fruit. Apples, oranges, kiwi, strawberries, and peaches. Crumpets, which is, they're a British breakfast food, kind of like a pancake, but more spongy with lots of holes on one side. They're amazing with butter and honey. I'm interested. Gonna have to try it sometime. What was the first movie you ever remember watching? Mary Poppins. The Land Before Time. Pinocchio. Milo and Otis, probably. Disney's Robin Hood. Alice in Wonderland. Jaws. That was the first movie you remember? Feel bad for you, my guy. The Exorcist. Good Lord. Your parents. Without saying Morgan Freeman, which actor would you be okay with acting as God? James Earl Jones. Alanis Morissette. Danny DeVito. That dude that was in Seven and Shawshank. You know, the guy with the great narrator voice. Peter Dinklage. Keanu Reeves. Dolly Parton. Paul Rudd. That guy doesn't age. I feel like Paul Rudd would do a great job at being God. Bill Murray. How are you dealing with the rising cost of living? I moved in with my parents and got a second job narrating for some YouTube channel. Denial. Try to cut back and try not to panic too much. Budgeting more strictly and making some trade-offs, removing impulsive purchases that are just wants. Making my credit card company very happy. Poorly. Sleep for supper, tea for breakfast. I stopped going for dinner outside and almost cook by myself. Stopped driving around with the car unnecessarily. The local Turkish supermarket, vegetables and fruits are usually way cheaper. Plus it feels good to help out a small business. And the baklava is a bomb. Lowering standard of living. I had to go back to work after I retired tired. I'm tired. Bold of you to assume that I'm dealing with it. Which song screams, welcome to the 80s. Don't you forget about me. From The Breakfast Club. Danger Zone. Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. Wake Me Up Before You Go. Mickey. Billie Jean. These are all great acceptable answers. Take On Me. Eye of the Tiger. Video Killed the Radio Star. Welcome to the Jungle. How do you personally recognize someone's not very intelligent? They're unable to separate opinion, emotion, preference, and fact. When every problem is caused by the opposite political party, always looking for someone to blame. The lack of self-awareness or self-control. They talk a lot about how intelligent they are, when they refuse to even consider opposing viewpoints or refuse to change their conclusions based on new information. The complete inability to critically think or analyze information. Lack of a sense of humor. Sucked into social media. Favorite stories, eateries, or all corporate chains. Fashion sense is whatever is trending. Morning or evening showers, and why? I prefer morning because if I go to bed after I shower, like, yeah, I'll feel clean, but then in the morning, my hair will be all messed up, and I like waking up and getting in the shower to feel clean, and it's like a start to my day, you know? Usually morning, so I'm as clean as possible before interacting with people. Both, actually. I need to have a shower in the morning to get my hair under control and face the day. I like to have one before bedtime because I like to be clean when I get into bed. Evening. Going to bed dirty is just plain gross. Night showers, because you can sleep clean. After work shower. Why go to work clean just to get dirty? I prefer both. Clean the sleep off and clean the day off. Apart from money, what's the next thing that you need the most? Love, peace of mind, love, a way to make money, attention, a loving and committed romantic relationship with a woman that I am good for and is good for me. To be left alone by the government. Thank you, big ol' schmeat. Appreciated. Peace, time, more downtime, a remote job. Don't we all wish? Oh man. Brain calmness, internet access. We're all done, everybody. That's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to sleep. Peace out. Goodbye.